Hi everyone, Adrian here. Welcome back to Wild Bush and Grit. And today I have a special video for you where I want to show my process from transforming fat, like the harvested fat you had from deer, moose, bear, whatever, into soap. Fat has a lot of use, and I highly encourage you to keep all the fat trimmings that you have because you can put all this good fat to use. Whether it's for caring for your leather apparels or making candles, making soap. There's a lot of goodness in fat. So this is the fat, all the fat I have from 2 does. I got a couple of kilos here. The first thing we need to do is to render that fat. And to me, the best way to do that is to grind all this fat and then heat them up with water to render the fat and make good tallow. If you don't have a grinder, you will have to cut the fat into small pieces, and at the same time you can discard all the small chunks of meat that we have here. So here what I'll just do is I'll just cut them into small chunks so they actually enter my meat grinder. I'm super lucky, like the 2 does I've harvested this year were very, very, very fat. Like you can see all the, if it can focus, yeah, see this? This is great. This is the batch I want to process now, so it's that's a good amount of fat. The reason for grinding it is to have a better yield of the tallow that is going to be rendered. So let's go to the stovetop. I'm gonna set the heat to medium-low, and I'm going to add 2 cups of water. The role of the water here is to prevent the fat from overheating and getting some burnt smell. The burnt smell will carry all the way through your soap, so if you do have burnt smell, there's little you can do about once you render your tallow. So the best way to not have burnt smell in your soap is to avoid the fat to burn in the first place, and water will allow you that. So water has two things. First, prevent the fat from burning, and second, it will help also the separation from the fat and all the small debris that we don't want into the soap. All the chunks of meat, the sinews, all these things are gonna go at the bottom with the water. And make sure you come back to it constantly to make sure that all the water hasn't evaporated. And you will definitely have to add a cup here, from time to time. So, correction, I did add 2 cups of water already, but my gut feeling tells me to add 2 more, so this is what I'm gonna do. All right. Looks delicious, doesn't it? The fat is melting. As you could see, now we're left with a lot of, meat, sinews, and membrane. So this is going great. I'll cover it again, and we'll be back in an hour. So it's been slow boiling for about 2 hours, and I think we're pretty done with this one. I thought it would be longer. Last year when I did it, I didn't grind the fat, and I diced it with a knife, and it took me about 4 or 5 hours to render. But I would say grinding the fat makes a huge difference in the speed of the process. We'll take out all the sinews and the leftover the meat, and we will clarify what's left in the pot. So I'm going to add a little bit more water to this, and I'm still gonna let it simmer for maybe 20 minutes. Having more water will help catch more particles. I'm gonna add maybe 2 cups more of water. And I'll let it simmer again for about 10-15 minutes. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes. I'm just gonna turn off the heat and let everything cool down. And I will see you once everything has hardened and start the cleaning process. Alright, this is the next morning. So yesterday we rendered the fat into tallow. I'll let it cool off overnight. And deer fat is very, very waxy, very hard. So now we're left with basically there's two layers. At the bottom there's water, and at the top we have the fat. As you see, it's still there's still a lot of impurities in it. And now we're going to begin the process of cleaning the fat. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break this into two pieces so I can bring them out, and I'm gonna show you what's left in the water. All the stuff that we already we can discard right away. So you see how nasty this is, right? So we have lots of nasty stuff. Alright, so the pot is clean. I'm adding 2 cups of water here. And voila, so we're putting it back on the stove top. Alright, this is the second time I'm washing the fat. I just turn it off, and you can see now how clear the fat, the oil is, and previously it was kind of opaque. And the more you're cleaning it, the less debris and material left in the fat are, the more transparent it's going to be. Alright, so this is cleaning number 2. I had it simmer for about half hour, stopped it, let it cool down. Now the fat is has solidified. And what I'm gonna do here again, I'm gonna cut it, remove the water that is left underneath, add more water, and send it back to the on the stovetop. You can see from this color right now, it's already much cleaner than what it was originally. So let's remove this piece. Whoop. And you see we still have a little bit of dirt and grime at the bottom here. If you want, you can scrape that off. It's fine. I'll just flush the water, add some new water, and then do it again. Alright, so I really like what I'm seeing here. The oil is getting very, very clean, translucent, you can see through. So as we're washing the fat, all the debris and the material are being left over in the water that we're discarding, and the oil, the fat itself, is getting super clear and translucent. So this is what we're looking for. Now, at this point in your fat rendering process, you can stop if you're making candles or using the fat to protect your tools, your guns, your whatever you want to protect, leather, apparel. You can stop here. For the soap, what I like to do is I like to do one more wash, and I will add 2 teaspoons of baking soda to my water, to help having a cleaner product in the end. Fat, now tallow with some water has been boiling about 15 minutes. Everything cooled off. Now it kind of hardened, and you probably won't be able to tell from the camera, but it's getting wider and wider and wider at every iteration of cleaning. So now what I'm gonna cut it into some piece. I'm gonna flip it over, and maybe we'll still have some little leftover on the actual fat, and we're just gonna scrape it off. And the last step for me, and I'm doing this because I'm going to make soap with this batch. The last step for me is going to be to deodorize the tallow. We're going to add a solution of baking soda and water back on the stovetop, having simmer for about 15-20 minutes. Let it cool off, and then separate the water from the tallow. So, camera can focus. So you see, we still have a little bit of a residual scum at the bottom of the tallow, and with a knife, I'm just going to scrape that off very, very lightly, not to take too much tallow with it. And we have a little bit here on the side. So we can just with the edge of the knife, just scrape this off. So I'm gonna do the same to the 3 other blocks, and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so I washed the pot, super clean. Now I'm gonna make my solution, so I'm gonna take 2 cups of water, and here in this I have some baking soda, about 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Here, 2 cups of water, baking soda. Make sure you dissolve the baking soda properly, no clumps. Looks good to me. And I'm gonna dump the baking soda in my pot and add the fat back, the tallow. And going back to the stove top at medium-low. Alright, I'm done with rendering the fat into tallow. And that's how it looks. So batch 1 here is the batch that I've cleaned with using baking soda. And the second batch here is just regular, I mean no baking soda in it. And that's it. Thanks for watching, folks. See you in the next video. See ya!